A very good morning once again from the sports desk. Now, 80 cyclists have completed the Legacy Ride for Hope initiative. They cycled 550 kilometers over 3 days. This initiative raising funds to build classrooms for hope. That's essentially the tag for this particular initiative, and it's in underfunded schools. Former professional cyclist Luthando Kaka led this peloton, and he joins us now in studio. He's joined by Motlokwe Sebake, who is the general manager of Rompco Pty Ltd, who also took part in this ride. Gentlemen, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making the time. Guys, get public holiday, and you could have just been chilling, relaxing. After 550 kilometers, this is not where you would want to be, but thank you for coming through in any case. Motlokwe, I'm going to start with you because I had a great 10 minutes with this man before he went on this particular journey. So I'm going to come to you and ask you, why did you do this? Why did you feel that this was something that needed your participation?
Sure. I think for me, this actually started in 2018. So the first Ride for Hope tour, which started in 2018, I participated in it. And I think to say it changed my life, it sometimes sounds like a cliche, but it was impactful. When you see the difference that you make to communities that are less fortunate than us, and seeing when, the small kids being happy to just see you ride through and have conversations with them and, making a difference in their lives. For me, it was that. It just touched me, and it was something that I thought is something that's very close to my heart. And I think also from our organization as Rompco, it's something that's very, very close to our mission in actually trying to eradicate, poverty and also focusing a lot on education and health. So it was an initiative that really aligns with our company, and we saw an opportunity to actually partner with Ride for Hope and the Nelson Mandela Foundation to make a difference.
When I had a chat with you, Luthando, you seemed cautiously excited about it, because you're thinking to yourself, 550 kilometers, from Soweto to Howick, is that really something that we need to be doing? But then you detailed the route that you're even going to be taking. It was something that was planned, thought through, and something that you saw yourself perfectly executing. Was it perfectly executed?
I hope so. I hope so. Of course, Motlokwe and other participants will be the one to actually say, no, it was a success. But we hope we delivered what the participants expected, and also what the communities were expecting, especially the schools, in terms of the contributions that were made. But yeah, I'm actually relieved. I actually woke up this morning without a text message that said, "Hey, has anyone seen my shirt?" So yeah, it was quite a relief, and we are happy that everyone got back to their respective homes safely, and we are happy that we had no incidents, and yeah, it was a great and a successful tour. We've touched some lives, as Motlokwe did say, and we really are looking forward to seeing those classrooms in the next 10, 20 years still standing, and seeing communities and children benefiting from that contribution. So yeah, we are very happy, and we are very thankful to our partners, Rompco, ABSA, Hulamin, Tesele, Tourism KZN. Blue. There's a lot of people, a lot of corporates that came to the party and actually assisted in many different ways, and yeah, we're extremely grateful.
That's an important point he makes, Motlokwe, about in 10, 20 years, we still want to see, hopefully at least, that these schools are still standing. Yeah. You guys, as corporate, you are making an investment, and corporate needs to see ROI.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to be ensuring that you're following up on the progress of these schools, not just in terms of the infrastructure itself, but what it is they are churning out in terms of, the young kids, and getting them properly educated and such? Are you guys going to ensure that you are following up, and it's not just we've built a school?
Yeah. No, 100%. And I think it's one of the things that we've also had a conversation with Ride for Hope about, that, we can't just build a school and then leave. We want to see these schools really making an impact. And how does that happen? Is through us actually going back and making sure that the little they need, we're able to help them get those things. And I think we've partnered with an organization called Osuzweni in Mpumalanga, and we will look to reach out through those organizations that obviously focus on a lot of education development and all of that, to see if they can help in actually helping these other schools, the classrooms of the schools that we've actually just built in Standerton, to support and make it a long-lasting initiative and seeing it bear fruit. And I think for us that's critical. We don't want to leave an asset lying there and without any support. That's very critical. So, and it's something that we plan to do.
All right, guys, this, by the way, is a sports bulletin, right? It's like we need to talk sport. So I need to touch base with you as a professional cyclist about 550 kilometers. That is, give or take, about 4 stages in the Tour de France. And you can do it because this is your life. But you have a Motlokwe who also needs to go back to the office, and get onto a Teams meeting and he needs to general manage. Just talk to me about how all the participants coped with 550 kilometers of riding over the course of about 3-4 days.
I mean, that's quite an important point. I think for us, it was just to make sure that, the distance are manageable. We had to also make sure that there is plenty of water stops and lunch stops to provide that moment of relief to the participants. The first day we had about 180 kilometers, into Standerton from Soweto, which was the upside days and and it was quite a fast one. We had flat roads there and no headwind, perfect day actually. So the riders handled themselves well. We had a bit of some challenges in the back group. So we also managed to split the groups into 2, which were your racing snakes, someone like Motlokwe, who were doing above 30 kilometers per hour. And then the guys at the back were doing about 25 kilometers per hour. And of course, day 2 was also quite challenging because we rode from Newcastle into, where is this now? So from Standerton to Newcastle. And that was a Rompco day. And we began with the school. And then we had about 150 kilometers on that day. And although we made sure through Tourism KZN that they would be welcome into a Vulindaba hotel, which was actually quite magnificent from the feedback we got, we realized riding into Newcastle, it was quite windy and hot. And there we really had some strugglers and people were actually struggling. And it also provided that element of this is a challenge. As much as we are doing a lot of good in the communities, but we are also pushing the participants to also be able to walk away with a sense of accomplishment, to say, you know what, this is the type of distance that I did, challenges that I got to see. So throughout those days, we provided support. Of course, day 3, we had ATC Tesele, and it was 120 kilometers, fairly easy. The guys really enjoyed it, and we got to experience some beautiful roads in KZN, and of course the last stage was into the capture site, and we did about 100 kilometers on that day. But the roads, Motlokwe can attest to the roads coming into, what do they call them, the meanders?
Meandering.
Yeah, something, into the capture site. That was awesome. That was quite a great experience, and we got some great content for the riders so that they are able to take home and look as to what they've achieved. So yeah, it was physically challenging, but also quite an experience, and I think the riders accomplished a lot in completing these 540 kilometers.
Motlokwe, what I enjoy about these kinds of conversations is that, social cycling gets seen as though it's like, it's for the elite, it's for the people that can afford these very expensive bikes. I have a friend of mine, his name is Makalo Haketla. He's turned from being a runner to a social cyclist as well. He also does initiatives where he cycles from Pretoria to Lesotho, so he cycles to Bomaseru and such. And he's opened my eyes to social cycling, to say that this is something that, can feed into the sporting code itself, where cycling is not that big of a deal in this country, where you only have one cyclist competing in the Tour de France from South Africa, Louis Meintjes, for example. Do you encourage cycling in the country? Do you see it as something that there is potential in it, where you've got 80 people that have jobs away from sport,
Yeah.
you know, but they feel the need to compete in something of this nature. Do you encourage social cycling?
Yeah, a lot. I think there's a lot of benefits. I think obviously there's I mean, I always say I look at cycling in two ways. You know, you get a benefit from obviously the physical element of it. You know, obviously with health, and you also have it's a community. I mean, you know, as humans we want to belong, and once you find a gang that you belong in, you know, there's always a benefit that you get out of those gangs. I mean, I was just gonna say I've actually met a lot of incredible people through cycling, and I think I've also seen the health benefits of cycling. So it's something that I try and, you know, share the stories with people around me, so that I at least encourage them to actually, even if it's just trying it out, because obviously also as you get older. You know, a lot of my friends are actually into running and you know, other sports that are quite heavy on your joints. But when you get older, it's probably a lot easier to sit on the bike and paddle so on your joints. So it's a good sport. Obviously, it has its elements. Obviously, it's like any other sports where you're exposed out there to dangers on the road. But it is good from a mental health perspective and also from networking.
I can imagine in terms of like a mental health, because that's something that a lot of us, you know, do struggle with in these trying times. Before I let you go, gentlemen, because, you know, when you're having fun, time does go against you. Luthando, what's next? You know, I would hope that you and I are not going to be chatting in the build-up to Nelson Mandela International Day. So what do you guys have lined up next?
At the moment, I mean, of course, we want to just take some step back, let it all sink in, so that we can also go back to planning, see what we could have done better, and also, I mean, assess, I mean, the social challenges that we face as a country. But for us, we don't want to look at one sector. We want to look at the whole issue, all issues, I mean, holistically, and say, where can we make the biggest contribution, where is the need? And then that's then when we'll be actually approaching your likes of Rompco and ABSA saying, you know what, this is something that we'd like to focus on, and hopefully have them join us again and be part of this very important event.
You will be on eNCA the next time you guys have something that you've lined up in terms of either a cycling initiative or any of the likes. And I definitely look forward to that particular conversation. Gentlemen, thank you so much for making the time on a public holiday, by the way, to come through to eNCA and have a chat about this amazing initiative, Ride for Hope, of course, the Legacy Ride for Hope initiative, where these two gentlemen and 78 other riders decided that they're going to be participating in a ride from Vilakazi Street in Soweto all the way to Nelson Mandela's capture site back in those apartheid days in Howick, KwaZulu-Natal. A success it has proven to be, and we can only but hope that this is not just one of the initiatives that they have, but that there'll be more, because especially with this particular situation, classrooms, education in this country definitely does need a bit of aiding. So that was Luthando Kaka, who of course is the man that is leading this initiative of Ride for Hope, joined by Motlokwe Sebake, who is the General Manager of Commercial and Customer Affairs at Rompco, Pty Ltd. Thank you very much to them, and thank you to you, of course, for always staying with eNCA to join us for these kinds of conversations. That's